time now is 4:05, so we want to schedule the meeting, start them on time. It's a public
Yep.
safety meeting and a finance committee meeting between myself and Councilor Allen. I'm going to yield the floor to Councilor Allen to actually lead it. So, Councilor Allen, the floor is yours.
Thanks, LeVar.
You're welcome.
Yeah, from the finance team, we have Councilor Walsh here. Yep, she's here, and Councilor Delgado is the other member of the finance team.
Not here yet.
Not here yet. And who's from public safety?
Myself.
Councilor Click Bruce and Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Who else who's your third member from public safety, Councilor? Do you have another member of your committee besides Councilor Davila?
You're not on the line right now, Councilor Allen.
Okay, thanks. All right, so I'll tell you what I know about this. I heard about this last week. Susan called and said, can you make a meeting Monday at 4? And I said, yes. But I don't have a lot of the history and I just know it's a 7.2 million. Potential 7.2 million budget item. And I guess I'm assuming the superintendent would speak on this or
yeah, I'll let the superintendent start and I can answer any of the finance questions.
All right, great. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me and my team here.
Nice to have you here.
Come and at least speak about this. We think this is very important for our department and for the city as a whole. So just once again, thank you all for letting us, come here and speak our word. So I guess we'll get started right from the start. The elephant in the room is 7.2 million over 5 years. And that's what we're looking at. When you look at it from that perspective, it's a lot to digest, but hopefully after we explain the importance of the program, you'll understand what our needs are. So I just want to talk a little about how we got here. The department, I don't want to say it's been negligent, but over 25 years or so, up until about 5 years ago, we really didn't do a good job updating our software. And, our systems were, let's just say, lackluster. In many of the areas, my opinion, we're still in the 20th century, and I think that we really need to pick it up. Our records management system hasn't been updated since like 1994, 1995, when we started our IMC and so on. So that's, it's far too long. And the only thing we've been doing is piecemealing things just to make sure that we get things done. We constantly use programs for things that they're not intended to be used for, but we do whatever we have to do to make it work. And we continuously play catch up. We have to buy new software that's only good for one area. And when it can't be used for the other area unless we purchase the application programmable interface software, which is another huge expense for us. So what we're trying to do is, I'm trying to bring the department into the 21st century. I want to put everything together as a whole. So we're not working out of silos. Each department that we have, we may have one department that has a need for something and they're putting in for something. Another department has a need for another thing and they're putting into things. And when it comes down, they don't talk to each other. You know what I mean? The program, the software doesn't talk to each other, and we just need to do something to bring it up to par. So over the last 5 years, since we've had body worn cameras as a norm, we've made significant progress in reducing our complaints from the public and also reducing our bad behavior by the police. And that's why we think that it's so important, why we need to have the best product on the market at this time. Over those same 5 years, we'll come to realize that our body worn cameras that we have right now are just not up to par. I don't want to say that they're inept, but certainly not up to par. We're at the point now that we're returning probably 2 cameras a week, to be worked on. And over time, it's a strain on our program. So we don't want to do that. The software updates are not keeping up with our needs, and customer service actually is it's not what we desire. So because of all those concerns, about 8 months ago, I put together a body worn camera committee, and it was formed to address these issues and also the ongoing issue that our body worn camera contract was going to be expiring this year. So, right, so we needed to make a move on it. And so the committee, they got together, we started looking at a lot of different things, and they realized that there was more than just body worn cameras to talk about. We were in the process of upgrading our TASER program also, along with the body cameras. And it grew into a departmental-wide technology advancement and integration project. And like I said before, the department's been working in silos. We had body worn camera department. We had the academy that was dealing with our TASERs. We had IT department dealing with our software, and we just need to put everything together. And we need to come to have a company that can offer all of that in one bundle, instead of having to depend on one company for one thing, another company for another thing, and so on and so forth. So G-Tech we have now, and that is the company that we feel is not up to par.
That's the original camera company.
That's the original camera company. And when we got into this, maybe 5, 6 years ago, when we started getting into it, we went with, I wasn't on the committee, so I'd have to say we probably went with who was the least expensive, or, whatever was out there for us. So we did. And since that time, we've realized that that's probably not the best company out there for us. There were 2 other major companies that served body worn cameras, and that was Motorola and Axon. So both Motorola and Axon, they provide superior body worn camera, but Axon is the sole source vendor.
Meaning what?
Well, they would give us our body worn cameras.
That's it.
Nope, they give us also our TASERs that we have to also upgrade that. And they also come with all the software that we need. So we would get everything. It would be full integration of our settlement agreement also with DOJ. Everything that they would offer would cover all. And that's where we come with the bundled price of 7.2 million over the 5-year period. That's extending our body worn cameras from 511 to what we have right now to 550. So we can suit every officer in the department with the cameras. And also it would increase our cameras from 100 to 350, to where we could also have TASERs for every officer. Now, also the body worn cameras is going to also be for our special officers, our special police officers, and so on and so forth. Everyone that would be working under the color of our uniform. So if you look at a complete bundled cost, Axon being the best available, it'll save approximately 1.8 million over the 5-year period compared to Motorola. It would be that 7.2 million. G-Tech, which we are really not interested, would be like 8.3, and Motorola would be $9 million.
Let me just ask a question at this point. Do they all, what functionality you need? You need cameras, obviously, and there's other functionality you're looking to solve. It's just other things that this technology will provide for you.
Well, like I said, as far as if I'm understanding you correctly, our TASERs, We're going to be upgrading from what we have right now is it's a 7, the Model 7. We're going to a Model 10, which absolutely is an upgrade from what we have now. It gives us far more opportunity to do the things that we seek to do. It eliminates what we call a drive stun, which is, I think it's the source of many of our complaints and our lawsuits coming from tasers. It eliminates that and it gives us an audio component to it, which, one of my review team and other persons here can speak on that because they're certainly more well-versed than I am on that. We're looking to do a lot of different things. There's so many things that this upgrade will bring. I can't even tell you all of it, but the people sitting in this room can. They certainly can, and hopefully they'll have an opportunity to do so. If we can give them a little bit of time to talk about it. So, so to sum it up, I think the police department, we're recommending the Axon proposal to be the most valuable for the department. Because after nearly 8 months of research with the 3 companies, Tech, which is our current body worn camera vendor, Motorola, and then Axon, our review committee decided that Axon met all 3 needs for the new body worn cameras, tasers, and the software that we would be needing. We further determined that over the last 5 years, using the Tech body worn cameras and systems, that, like I said, they're incompatible. They're just, the software is not good and they have communication issues. So we don't want to go back to that company. Motorola, who is a great company, and they have a very good body worn camera, but they don't have software to integrate with the professional standards unit software to implement the DOJ settlement agreement. Axon is the current vendor for our Springfield Police Department tasers as we stand now, but it's 5-year contract, ends in April of this year. In addition to Axon's body worn cameras and taser software, their proposal provides a suite of updated software products that will allow our professional standards unit to continue as it's going and improve on what we already have. Which is something that we absolutely need because we have to remain in compliance with the DOJ settlement agreement. And by improving, streamlining, and tracking the required policies and procedures, compliance metrics over the next 5 years. So
you're really trying to solve 3 things: a new camera, a new taser, and the other
the software package that comes around with it. And that way we would be able to work all with one package instead of, because right now what we're doing, we have Tech and they do our body worn cameras, but they don't offer the tasers. And we have, and their software package doesn't come close to what Axon does. Motorola, they have a great body worn camera, but they also don't have tasers. And they don't offer the same things that we would want with our software packages. So, the 5-year contract will be more beneficial to the city than the 3-year contract. Because a 5-year contract, it'll allow lower annual payments than the 3-year contract. And the average savings is over $500,000 per year, with a total savings of about $2.6 million over the 5-year period.
Well, you may not know my background, but I was a manager in IT at Mass Mutual for 25 years. So it's pleasant to hear a user, a client coming and saying, I want something. So many clients, users of software, buy the thing that's the quickest and solves one problem, but doesn't integrate into other things. So it's nice to hear you talking about that. I understand the value of that. I don't understand your functionality, but I do understand that mindset because I had many a client who wanted just something to just solve one quick problem, which is, it sounds like you've done that in the past and you're trying to mature to the next generation of things working together. That's a great start. I don't know, do you want to, I'll open it to the floor. I've asked a few introductory questions. Maybe Kathy, do you want to, talk about the
I can
finan-?
explain the financing.
Why don't you do
I
that?
met with the team. I think there were even more in the room. At the end of December, they explained the system and the price, and I almost fell off my chair, but, I did, come back. The superintendent and I met with the mayor. He explained the program, the tasers, the body worn cameras, the cloud storage, the software, it's all together. And the mayor is behind this. He is 100% behind this. So he asked me to put together a financing package that we could afford, that made sense. So I sat down with the finance team and we will be coming, if it goes, if subcommittee will bring it in front of the council on the 10th next week, if you agree. I'll be asking you to bond for 2.5 million. I'll be asking for 1.5 million in free cash. The other money will, a small amount come from PAYGO, but $2.1 million will come from the police department's general fund. And that is just level funding what they pay right now every year. So their general fund will not increase. That was the same amount that we have right now in the budget. So over the next 5 years, we'll just maintain that. So their budget won't go up. And then the department has come up with some $500,000 from different police accounts, their donation account, their NARC accounts. And then the police put in for a $400,000 mitigation grant from the Gaming Commission. So if you put those together, it comes to the 7.2 million. You can only bond for parts of it, the equipment. I could have bonded for 3.1 million. I didn't want to. I'm trying to keep all our bonding as low as I can because that in turn increases debt service, which increases the budget. So it made sense to use more free cash right now. If you do certify this 1.5 million, it will bring our free cash down to 4.8 million. But I think it's a good use of our free cash, and that's what we have it there. And it's a way to keep.
What's our total free cash? 65 or 70?
Our free cash, there was 21 million this year.
I'm sorry,
You're not using any
you're
stabilization.
not using any
No,
stabilization.
no, I'm asking for the 2.5 in a bond, 1.5 from free cash. I'm
Okay.
trying to keep the bond as low as I can, but it does make sense to use a bond for the equipment,
Okay.
for some of it.
Oh, that sounds like you thought that through. That sounds good. We didn't really introduce everybody here because I was 5 minutes late getting here. I didn't want to do that then, but I do want to do it now so we understand who's been on this team and who's in this meeting. And then we'll open it for questions. So could you just introduce yourselves? We go around.
Lieutenant Anthony Cicero. I work in records under Captain Miller. I also run the body worn camera portion of the department.
Great.
Lieutenant Matt Benoit, I work under the Professional Standards Unit for Captain Villava.
Thank you.
Lieutenant John Zolo, I work in staff inspection under Captain Miller.
Great, thanks.
Adam Lungi, IT manager for the police department.
Great.
Lisa Lewis, budget director for the police department.
Yeah.
Mike Rodriguez, sergeant for professional standards.
Brian Belleville, captain of professional standards.
Reginald Miller, Captain, Information Services Commander.
Lawrence Akers, superintendent of police.
And just so everybody knows everybody here and see you,
Sorry, Manny with Motorola.
you're with Motorola.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Butler County Law.
Steve Largan, controllers.
Kathy Bono, finance. Kathy Beck, retired.
Joe.
I like my version of retired.
I work with the settlement agreement implementation unit, now known as professional standards and compliance with the settlement agreement with the Department of Justice, and also assist the law department with contract issues. And I also have communicated with the city's chief procurement officer about the process of going through this acquisition for the Axon contract. And she's on board with it, so it's compliant with everything.
And I'm Chris Frazier with City Hall Finance.
Councilor Victor Darby, law enforcement.
Great. And on the camera, Tracy, could you start us?
No, I can. Thank you, Counselor, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chairs. And thank everybody who's here today. I have a couple questions mainly for Kathy.
Can we just do the intros right now?
Oh, yeah, Tracy Whitfield, Springfield City Councilor at Large. I had my hand up for quite some time, so I thought it was my turn. Okay.
I'll come back to you next. Go ahead, who else we have online there?
Counselor
can't-
Ken Shea
Wilson,
from the Law Department.
I'm a member of the Finance Committee.
Okay,
Mike Fenton, I'm here, City Council.
thank you, Mike. Lindsay, is that you?
Yep, Lindsay Hackett, Deputy CAFA for the city.
And LeVar?
Barclay Drew, City Council, Ward 5.
Thank you.
Ken
Get
Shea is
everybody?
also on. Ken Shea is also on.
Yep, Ken Shea from the Law
Ken Shea.
Department. I don't know if you heard that.
Thanks, Ken.
Yeah.
We get everybody? So now we'll just, we'll open the floor to questions. Tracy, we missed you on the first time around. With those of you on the camera, I can't see well enough to pick you up. So, just raise your hand or have somebody else or speak up. I'm not missing anybody by choice. It's just I can't always see.
Okay.
So Tracy, why don't you start us off?
Yes, so my questions are for the Finance Department. I like the creativity you have going on with purchasing this whole package. I just want to know how much the software was that we were capturing the body worn camera footage before, and whose budget was that in?
The software, and I think Lisa answered that, but this was captured in the general fund budget, and those are the funds I'm using to fund over the next 4 years. It's 2.1 million, $423,390 was in the police department's budget, is currently in and will be in the police department's level funded the next 5 years, and that's how each year we'll use that money.
So you included whatever you paid for tasers before and whatever you paid for the IT software before, plus what was in the budget
The
previously?
cloud storage. So there was the tasers, the software, and the cloud storage has been in the general fund. And that's what we'll continue to fund in the general fund, but we'll level fund it. It's not going to be an increase every year over the 5 years for the budget. I didn't want to raise the budget.
Okay, that's good to know. And then my other question was, we get these like mitigation funds that's from MGM, that's just for like police, fire and stuff like that. Did we consider using any of those funds, or can they be used for this purpose?
They're using $400,000 of those funds.
Of those, from
Mitigation grant. They've applied for 400,000 from the mitigation grant.
Okay, so 400 from that, and then 1.5 you said from free cash?
Yes.
Okay. And then bond. Okay, I think it's a great program. I think if we need upgrades to help make our city even safer and make sure everyone is acting with decency and integrity, which I think the majority of the officers do, but sometimes we just need a little help, sometimes even to prove our own case, right? In case someone is filing a complaint or something like that, that it's needed. And what makes the tasers better in this packet, or is it the same tasers? Better cameras?
It's much better, and I'll have Lieutenant Cicero comment on that, if you don't mind.
So, we're not the experts on the tasers, but we do know that Taser 10 not only provides better distance for safer use for the officers, but it also eliminates the drive stun, which Superintendent Akers spoke about. It's eliminating something that is highly people sue a lot on it, but it also causes a lot of complaints. It also causes higher use of force because it's so easy to use as opposed to a deployment of a probe. The drive stun, it's a button press, and it reduces that tactic. And hope that you'll if you have the PowerPoint in front of you, you go to page 6, slide 12.
Tracy does that.
Did we get PowerPoint?
Well, we can email it to you.
Okay.
There's a handout here, Tracy.
There's a handout here.
Okay. I could look at it later. Um,
I can share it on the screen if you'd like, and I think the city council office might have emailed it out already, but I can share it on the screen if you'd like.
That'd be great.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Well,
Yeah.
be great to do it, but let's get around to some other, is that your last question, Tracy?
Oh, I didn't get it answered, counselor, because I didn't see what.
I'm not gonna wait for the thing to.
Yeah, but it doesn't take but a
There it
second
is.
to put it on the screen. We don't have to go through a whole thing, just want to see what's included in the.
Five, 6 or 7, I think.
Page 6.
Yeah, so slides 11 and 12. Will give you kind of a quick overview of the tasers.
Keep going.
This one,
Yes, and the one previous to it as well.
Sorry, there's no numbers on here, so you'll have to tell me.
That's all right.
Keep going.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
those two slides there, if you notice, our current taser is Taser 7, which is the middle there. Right, so Taser 7 wasn't much different than Taser 26. Each engagement was a dual probe deployment, which required contact from both probes in order to have its desired effect. If you notice, the standoff distance was the same in the two previous models. Taser 10, which is outlined in the bottom, it's a single probe deployment at a time, but you get 10 probes that you can utilize. It's a point of aim, point of impact style deployment where you aim is where that projectile goes versus worrying about two probes at once making contact on an individual. So it gives you a greater standoff distance to increase that reactionary gap and have a safer deployment for that less lethal means. And again, you have 10 deployment options, 10 probes that you can deploy. So if you miss the first 1, 2, 3, 4, because of that standoff distance, you can fire up to 10 times to get that desired incapacitation. Those are the biggest differences.
But can it hit somebody 10 times or?
No, so we would not change the state regulations or our use of force policy with regards to the fact that we cannot exceed 3 deployments or 3 activations, charges to exceed 15 seconds. So from the use of force perspective, it does not change at all. It just provides an officer the opportunity with the previous iteration or the current iteration that a miss is a miss. And that creates other problems. The removal of a force level altogether for the purposes of utilizing the drive stun is a significant change. And that, again, the taser will be deployed for its sole purpose, which is going to be a standoff with an individual who's actively assaultive. And the other aspect of it too will be a potential or be the activation of body worn cameras upon a drawing of the taser from its holster, which is unique to the current system.
Oh, so the cameras will pick it up when you're doing that. Oh,
And additionally, ma'am, so it has like a capacitor, if you will, right? So 50,000 volts is the taser voltage for engagements. So if you hit someone 10 times, it's not going to increase that times 10, right? It has a limit of that 50,000 volts, so it won't exceed that.
Okay. All right, good to know. I like that it works together in unison. That is a great feature. I like that it keeps our officers safer because you can be further distance away because of all the recent things that's been going on. Like I really appreciate all of you and what you do for us to keep us safe, honestly, because it's real scary out here. And I like that the finance department got creative. You can stop sharing, Lindsay, now with the funding. But I just wanted to go back to my question one more time, Kathy. I'm not talking about like applying for a grant. I'm talking about the funds that we get in specifically from MGM for public safety, because we get something annually.
Those go right to the general fund revenue. But I can tell you that there is no grants out there right now for cities that already have body worn cameras, because they're still trying to get the communities that do not have them to get them. But the mayor has sent a letter to the governor requesting for her to acknowledge that, we were the first ones to have it. So are there any programs or any funding that she has or can, identify that could help us. And if we're able to identify that, maybe not right now, but 6 months or 8 months or a year from now, we will of course lower what we fund in the general fund for any of those grants. But right now, the only grants are for communities that need new body worn cameras. But we're still looking. We're still looking.
I know. Well, I'm just gonna say I appreciate it. I support this. I gotta jump to another meeting for work. Unfortunately, I still work, and unfortunately. Hi, Kathy. I thought that was you by your haircut, Brett, but I couldn't tell for sure. But
Hi.
hey, we're glad you're still with us. All right, take care. Thank you for those questions. I do support the funding. Thank you.
Thanks, Counselor Whitfield. All right, Counselor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Couple of clarifying questions. First, on the finance aspect, Kathy. So this is, I'm just gonna summarize quickly, $7.5 million is the ask over 5 years. That comes out to be roughly about 1.5 million a year. It's gonna yield $2.6 million in savings. Now, you have identified 7.2.
It's only 7.2 million.
You said it's only 7.5, but it's.
Yeah, okay.
7.2.
I said 7.5, okay.
7.2 million.
Okay, but how much from the pay-go account?
The pay goes only about 187,000.
Okay. Now, with the, I think you said 2.1 million from SPD general fund, correct?
Yep.
Is that from, open positions?
No, every year in the budget, we fund, and this year they do, they have $423,390 funded for tasers, software and cloud storage. So what I'm gonna do is just level fund that every year for the next 5 years. And that gives me $2.1 million toward this,
Oh, okay, over 5 years.
over 5 years.
Okay, I see.
We can spread the payments out over 5 years. I'm not paying the 7.2 up front. So we're spreading out over the 5 years. And so I'm gonna level fund their budget, what they have now, over the next 5 years. Because I didn't want to increase their budget.
But that 400,000 and some change that you mentioned.
Yep.
Over the 4 years from the police general fund.
Right.
Is that going to impact the current open positions?
It's
They're
not
gonna-
coming from open positions. Open positions have nothing. It's in there right now.
So we will not be jeopardizing the future hiring of.
No.
Okay.
This is coming from there other than personal services.
Oh, that was.
Yes, OTPS, I'm sorry,
OTPS, okay.
OTPS, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Now, as far as the taser itself, Lieutenant Cicero, it appears to me that the functionality of this is one, it has a greater reach up to 45 feet, correct? You can deploy up to 10 times. Okay, how many times can we deploy now?
So
Two,
two.
4 points.
So the current configuration, you have 2 cartridges, each containing 2 probes,
Mhm.
but those probes are deployed at the same time, right? And you need both of those to make contact in order to incapacitate.
Mhm.
So if one missed, you have one more cartridge that fires 2 probes that hopefully one of those 2 makes contact to connect the circuit. Whereas the TASER 10 has 10 individual probes that as long as you get 2 of them to make contact, you have the incapacitation.
Oh, so when the officer deploys, only 2 go out? 2 probes go
So
out.
currently, yes, currently only 2 probes come out. There's 2 lasers that show you the point of impact. So you call it paint the area where that laser is, you pull the trigger, the probes make contact with, chest, leg area, and that completes the circuit. The TASER 10 eliminates the dual probe deployment. It becomes a singular probe deployment where that single laser is, that's where the probe is going. So if I wanted, instead of firing 1 cartridge to deploy 2 probes that hopefully hit, I'd fire 1 upper torso, 1 in the leg, and that would complete your circuit. So instead of having to focus on 2 lasers at once, landing it on somebody, it's easier to fire 1 projectile at a time.
And I think I heard the captain say that if the officer deploys a taser with the functionality of Axon, it's gonna automatically activate the camera and it will start recording?
Correct, yes. So for TASER, and also the firearm has a receiver that goes on the holster.
You
So
mean,
when
the issue firearm?
correct, the
Okay.
issued firearm, there's a little magnet that goes on the holster. So when you draw your firearm, if you, for some reason, because it's a dynamic situation, didn't activate your camera, it would automatically turn that camera on. So you wouldn't lose that valuable footage in an officer-involved shooting. So same thing with the taser. You draw that taser, it turns it on. So if it was something that was rapidly evolving and you didn't think about pressing it, it sort of keeps the officer from having to focus on that, and they can focus on the threat.
Excellent, excellent. Now, with this, do we have to do any kind of like, everything is maintenance, of course, but is it 7.2 including just the purchase or?
That- it-
Or how we do a budget for that?
It includes all necessary hardware repairs, replacements, the storage.
Okay.
I
It
don't see them
includes
for
everything.
5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
None of
okay,
you.
okay, I got you, fair enough. And so, obviously, this is with the idea, I think Superintendent, you mentioned about, this is gonna help us bring into better compliance with the Department of Justice.
Yes, because there's a lot of things that, other than taser and stuff like that, that it just does so many things. The software offers so many different things that we don't have right now. That it's gonna help us, I mean, with community engagement and, you know, the transparency with our early intervention system, all of those systems that we need for, you know, consent decree, also with post is coming up now that we have to be in compliance. We also, as far as our, what's the word I'm looking for here? As far as becoming accreditation, thank you, accreditation, this is gonna help us with all of that.
Now, Superintendent, how many more, my final question, how many more cases are we getting out of this? We're getting
200.
So we're increasing from 100
So
cases to
to
200.
300.
To 300.
Actually, 350.
350.
Actually,
So we're going from 100 cases to 350,
350.
and we're going from 511 cameras to,
550.
and that's for replacement purposes.
No,
To add our
to, 550 will allow us to not only have room for growth, but also allow us to outfit the SPOs that the superintendent spoke on.
Special police officer.
The SPO, the retired officers who work traffic details, as long as they wear our uniform, we want them to have a body worn camera on.
And the 350 tasers, is that going to be deployed as well, or?
That is so that every officer who is trained on the taser will have it assigned to them, much like their firearm. That would allow for a better accountability and better statistic. At the end of the year, we have to submit a yearly report to the state. Where now it's piecemealed because it's all done by hand, because there are 100 tasers that are every night, they sign them out and sign them back and bring them back at the end of the night. Whereas now they'll have it.
And so this is really my final question, so am I then, can I safely, deduct, educated guess that then this will allow every single officer out there who's deployed patrolling or below a city is gonna be able to have a body camera, which I think they all do now, and a taser.
Well, the tasers, it should. I mean, depending on how our department grows and all, but yes, because a lot of the tasers, when you look at, even though we will have more than 350 officers, you know, a lot of the officers, plainclothes officers, so on and so forth, unless they choose to, they may not carry a taser with them.
So I'm thinking in any given shift.
So every uniformed officer between squad, C3, Metro, those units, they would have the tasers. The secondary units, detective bureau, things like that, they wouldn't be assigned one. They'd be able to draw one if they work in overtime or such,
Okay.
but the 350 would outfit the uniformed officers.
That uniform, all right. Okay, all right, thank you. Thanks for that. Thank you.
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
thank you, Counselor. Counselor Lick Bruce, you're co-chairing this with me. Do you need the floor? Do you have any questions or anything?
No questions. Really, just want to thank Superintendent Akers and his team and our finance team for presenting this to us. I don't have any specific questions. I did have a extensive conversation with the mayor's office over the weekend, I should say. So something that I definitely support. Public safety is near and dear to my heart. So this is something that our officers are need. And I think this is great that you found a way to get this done. So you have my full support, and I thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Counselor. Does anybody else got their hand up?
Cater Walsh.
Counselor Walsh, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also want to say thank you for the presentation, very helpful, but I also want to say hello to Kathy Breck because we miss seeing her, and to my friend Adam. Nice to see you here. But what I want to say as a member of the Finance Committee, I want to say this publicly, that I have total confidence in Superintendent Akers, and I am committed to supporting him in whatever he needs to make the Springfield department successful. I'm just happy you're not asking for 10 million because I might through. So I'm going to support this recommendation, and I hope it will be unanimous because we need to give you the tools that you need to be successful and to make Springfield safe. And this sounds to me like this might also reduce the need for some litigation. So 100% behind you, Larry.
Well, thank you very much, Councilor Wells. Thank you.
So Counselor, can I just say, so on the 10th, we'll be bringing this in front of you, but we'll need the council's authorization for the $2.5 million bond issuance, the $1.5 million free cash, and then your approval to enter into the 5-year contract, because we need council approval to enter into more than 3 years. So just so everyone knows, those will be the three orders.
So there's three.
Well, I
you
think
ordered,
if
three votes.
if you explained it at the council meeting the way you explained it tonight, it would be very helpful and I think successful.
Great. Anyone else that I can't see with their hand up, or any other questions in the room here? See, we got everybody. Counselor Fenton, you have anything you want to add?
I think he's gone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, I just want to reiterate those sentiments and full support.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Kathy, any final comments or?
Nope, I just want to make sure you know those 3 orders will
Those
be
three.
on, so we'll need those.
We
3
discussing them at the Finance Committee.
Yeah, we can discuss
Before
them
the
there,
meeting
but I
next
wanted
week.
everyone in the room, so everyone knew beforehand, before the Finance Committee that night, so you had time.
That's great.
And the superintendent's available as well as I'm available if anyone has any questions after today, so that we can address those questions before we get to the floor Monday.
Don't you think we should
Right.
make a motion to support it?
Well, we got still another question here on the floor, so, Attorney Bonaconti.
Very briefly, this will be good, obviously from my perspective for litigation, as Councilor Walsh has mentioned. And it will also be great for the DOJ. We are trying to get to consensus on the consent decree. We need to become in compliance. The goal is to try to get into compliance as quickly as possible, because once we're in compliance, then the clock starts running on 2 years. And then the DOJ would then leave the city. DOJ has raised this issue about technology as a concern of theirs, the body worn camera and the like. So this will go a long way of addressing some of the concerns that they raised. So extremely helpful for the DOJ. And from a litigation perspective, I know that body worn cameras when they first came in were quite controversial. But for our perspective, they're fantastic for us oftentimes to fend off what we consider to be unscrupulous litigation against the city.
Great. Excellent. Superintendent Akers, do you have any final comments or anything else we didn't cover?
No, I just want to thank you once again for allowing me and my team to come in here and speak to you about this. I think that it's absolutely a positive for the department and the city as a whole. And I just thank you and look forward to speaking again in front of the whole on the 10th.
Yeah, so the way it works on the 10th is we have a Finance Committee meeting before the 7 o'clock meeting, Finance Committee meeting on normal schedule. I assume it's normal next Monday. We'll be in here at 5:30. So we'll go through this, whatever's on the finance agenda, not just your stuff, but other stuff. It's a good chance for us to catch up on things before we go in there and make sure we've got everything squared away and understood. Impressive performance by your team. Nice job by both the police and by finance. It's a 4:45 and we're or I thought this meeting might go past 5, but it looks like we're in good shape, so appreciate your efforts. Counselor Walsh, did you want to make
Yes, I think
is that what you were saying before, that we should
we
make?
want to wait, we can wait to the actual finance meeting if you want to, but I think it'd be important to report out to the entire city council committee that we're in support of this issue.
So I don't know everybody that's on the public safety team, but the finance team, we have, we don't have Jose, we don't have Counselor Delgado, so if you make a motion, I'll vote for the motion, that'll be.
And the
two of-
council president can also vote on the motion.
Yeah, and the president can vote on the motion.
I'll make a motion that the finance committee makes a positive recommendation to support this transfer when it comes before us, February 10th.
Okay, thank you, I second that as well, and Counselor Fenton, Counselor Click Bruce, and anyone else on your committee, if you would like to weigh in on that. We have a motion to.
Yeah.
I vote yes.
Yeah, me and Counselor Davila, and also Brian Centinel, who isn't here, and I can't speak for Counselor Davila, but I definitely support it.
Okay, great, Counselor Davila.
Yeah, just going to the record, I think this is a very good, efficient use of money. I agree with the solution that this is going to reduce our frivolous litigation against the city, which we're now bleeding out. Something like close to $1 million every year on average. It's going to give a better functionality to the police officers for their safety. And it's just the way I look at it is a win-win. It's a very good investment to the city. And so I will support it. And thank you guys. Thank you. Because I can tell there's a lot of thought that went into this.
Yeah.
And so I will definitely support it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
everyone. Thank everyone for this.
Thanks, everybody, for your support, your presentation, your support, and we'll see you in a week. Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more.
Thank you.
Thank you.